Varsity Media offers live streaming, videography, and photography services for all teams and individuals of all ages. In business since 2010, we are the trusted source when it comes to sports media coverage. If you have a big game that needs to be filmed or live streamed, or an athlete in need of action photography, reach out today and save 15% when you mention this ad. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
From Cold Spring Harbor High School, the Varsity Media Sports Network presents this non-conference Nassau County Showdown between the visiting Dalers of Farmingdale High School and the host Seahawks of Cold Spring Harbor. Today's game is brought to you by Syosset Hospital, Northwell Health, as well as the Long Island Metro Lacrosse Foundation and Breakout Goaltending. Well, good evening, everyone. Dylan Butler here with Anthony Alexander as the lights are on here at Cold Spring Harbor. Second home game for the Seahawks, but just the opener, the curtain raiser for the Dalers, and it's a Farmingdale team, Anthony, that's got a lot of high expectations. Preseason number 2 in the coaches poll before the start of the year behind their rivals Massapequa. But a lot of seniors are part of this team, and they've got really key players in key positions. Face-off, goaltending, and there you see what they did last year, losing to Port Washington in the Nassau A semis by a goal. There you see the guys who graduated. Woodland, Seaman, and Bolello all currently playing Division I. Hofstra, St. John's, and Binghamton among that 3 there. But you find the guys to fill those roles, and they've certainly done that this year.
Yeah, I mean, listen, awesome atmosphere here. You can see the parents all coming in. There's going to be a big crowd. Tons of, just littered with, commits for college here. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. Both coaches do a great job of reloading every single year. When they think they're going to be low, they actually aren't low. They just keep on reloading. So, and they're quality coaches that find the most out of their kids. So this is going to be super exciting, Dylan.
We showed you the record last year for Farmingdale, 13-4. 3 of those 4 losses by a goal, the other by 2. So that's 4 losses, 4 goals. That tells you how close things were for the Dalers a year ago. But they have high expectations this year, and a couple of guys who they hope will lead them there. We'll show you their players to watch. It's Brendan O'Keefe this year making the move up to attack. He's an Albany commit. And Matt Pantorno, when you wear the number 50 and you've got the long pole, it's a very special number at Farmingdale, and Pantorno's a guy who deserves that number this year. So with O'Keefe leading the charge, only had 7 goals and 7 assists a year ago, but again, was a guy who wasn't the guy last year. He's going to have a more advanced role this year. And as we said, Pantorno, we'll see him at LSM, but they've got a lot of interchangeable parts, the Dalers do, so the LSMs can play close D if needed. In fact, we're going to see that as well when we show you their lineup in a little bit, where they've got a freshman, Mike Galgano, stepping in at close D for a starter there. So that's the story for the Dalers, and we look across the way at Cold Spring Harbor. They've already played 1 game, and what an incredible game it was. A rivalry game, crosstown rivalry, with Huntington making the short trip over across the border, and Cold Spring Harbor. Listen, it looked like it was going to be an easy one. They jumped out to a 5-0 lead. They were up 6-2 at the half. All of that while not winning a face-off. Right, Anthony Annunziata killed it. He was 18 for 18, and in fact, he on his shoulders led his team from that deficit. They took a 7-6 lead with 6:14 left, but Dennis Bond loved what he saw from his team at that point. It's still a young team, and a lot of guys also like Farmingdale figuring out new roles, but they came back, they tied it, and here's how this one ended. We bring you back to Friday night. You see the time clicking down, and there you see Calabretta working off the screen, rounding the cage and going top shelf. Hayden Calabretta with the winner for Cold Spring Harbor, his only goal of the game, and that was an important one, especially, again, considering a lot of guys in new roles, a little bit of adversity in the second half, and they answered the bell.
I mean, listen, new year, new heroes, right? You know, they got to step up. And what's interesting about every year when you see a player like, you know, Dylan, you've been doing this for a bunch of years now, so you see kids as they move up. And as they move up, do they handle the new role? Do they handle, hey, I get the number one defenseman now, you know, now I have to lead. What happens? And it's interesting to see that progression in them and what happens. So, you know, I mean, Hayden didn't score one goal in the whole game and then turns around. I mean, that's a lot of grit right there, right, to turn that corner and make that shot. So, you know, it's going to be very interesting to see this game.
By the way, a little luck as well late because Annunziata hits the crossbar as time expired. That's how close that one was. We'll look at the players to watch now for Cold Spring Harbor, and there they are, two alphas in their positions. CJ Riley, it feels like we've been saying his name for many, many years at this point. He's a senior. He's going to Michigan. 2 goals, a couple of ground balls as well against Huntington, and he'll have that X on his back this year. He's the guy. There is no question. And you know that he's going to get the other team's top defender. And the top defender for Cold Spring Harbor this year, it is Caden O'Connor, the senior. And again, talk about filling shoes when you've got 2 All-Americans in Phelan and Pisano. O'Connor comes in that same position. Last year he split time with Theo Torres at LSM, but now he's part of that close D unit, had 3 ground balls and a caused turnover in that win over Huntington.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Dylan, it's interesting when you see CJ out here, and he's progressed to a real leadership role, right? So you're going to watch, you know, he plays extremely smart, and Caden's always had the tools as well as a defenseman, you know, so even though he's, you know, behind Pisano and Phelan last year, you know, to learn from them and to progress now to where he's at, I mean, this team is like primed, you know, for leadership, and every year it is, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see because Farmingdale definitely reloaded a lot, you know, and they've kind of had the depth with a Class A without many kids in the program, and Cold Spring Harbor has to do it with fewer people. So it's interesting how this is going to play out.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups for both teams. First, for the visitors from Farmingdale. And you see it's the attack line of O'Keefe, Norton, and Lennon. By the way, Caden Lennon, a big boy, 6'5", 225. Your midfields are more of your veterans on this team. Ramos, Cangelosi, and Dylan Meta. Meta comes back to the district after playing at St. Anthony's. And your close D is Galgano, Parisi, and Trevor Gayron for Dealers head coach and usual broadcast partner, Mike Hungerford. There you see he is, talking to one of the officials. Hungerford in his 7th season at Farmingdale in 1986, graduate of Farmingdale, in his 30th overall year as a coach. He also spent 4 years here as Dennis Bond's assistant, so it's an interesting situation there in the first meeting in a very Cold Spring Harbor. And there you see in the cage, that man almost needs no portal. They bring in the best goalie on Long Island, maybe in the tri-state, and Mike Ippoliti again. He comes back into Farmingdale after playing at St. Dom's, a Syracuse commit, had 154 saves a year ago for St. Dom's. We'll take a look quickly at Cold Spring Harbor's lineup. It's Calabretta, Riley, and Donaldson up front. CJ Riley, Alex Bauer, and Ryan McGloin at midfield. O'Connor, O'Grady, and Pisano at close D for Dennis Bond in his 24th year as head coach, a 1984 graduate of Sewanaka High School. And quickly we'll show you their goalie, and a big opening game for Carson Kirshner. Had 14 saves, a 67% save percentage for the Scranton commit, Carson Kirshner. He'll be tested, no doubt, tonight. So it's Farmingdale, and it's Cold Spring Harbor. Friends reunite on the field, but they'll turn to enemies pretty shortly. You're watching it all right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Now is the time to order a college recruiting video with Varsity Media. College recruiting videos can save thousands of dollars on college tuition and help land a spot on the team. Our videos include your best plays set to music with spot shadowing effects to help you stand out from the competition. Contact Varsity Media today and mention this ad to save 15%. Call 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media offers live sportscasts for any event. Our productions include announcers, multiple camera angles, graphics, instant replay, and so much more.
Hankinson getting it back. Hankinson going in, dropping it back. The shot of the goal! That's it! That's it! Norton! Pittsburgh, the Class A champions!
If you want to enhance your event or make the experience better for your viewers, reach out to Varsity Media today and learn more about our live sportscast. Contact Varsity Media at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Are you a local business looking to advertise? Well, Varsity Media is the perfect place for you. We offer affordable rates both inside our live stream broadcast and through our social media channels. With coverage all over Long Island targeting the 16 to 54 demographic, why not take advantage and advertise today? For pricing and inventory availability, contact us today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media offers live streaming, videography, and photography services for all teams and individuals of all ages. In business since 2010, we are the trusted source when it comes to sports media coverage. If you have a big game that needs to be filmed or live streamed, or an athlete in need of action photography, reach out today and save 15% when you mention this ad. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Now is the time to order a college recruiting video with Varsity Media. College recruiting videos can save thousands of dollars on college tuition and help land a spot on the team. Our videos include your best plays set to music with spot shadowing effects to help you stand out from the competition. Contact Varsity Media today and mention this ad to save 15%. Call 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net.
We welcome you back to Cold Spring Harbor. Dylan Butler, Anthony Alexander here with you, the entire Varsity Media crew for this non-conference Nassau County slugfest between the Dalers of Farmingdale and the Seahawks of Cold Spring Harbor. We spoke with both coaches ahead of this game. Let's take a look at the keys for both teams heading into this one. And for Cold Spring Harbor, it's about handling Farmingdale's 10-man ride, and it's something that Dennis Bond says you can't emulate that in practice. It's very hard to do, especially when you don't see it and you don't even have film really of Farmingdale. It's their first game with a lot of new guys. You want to compete at the face-off X. Obviously, that was a struggle against the Nunziata. Despite losing all 18, though, they did well to win the possession after a face-off loss, and you can't have defensive lapses. A ton of the goals for Huntington were in quick spurts, and a lot of them, Dennis Bond said when he reviewed the film, was some defensive miscues. For Farmingdale, it's also about limiting mistakes. Hungerford says they want to do the little things well, face-off, ground ball, and defense, and they want to ride hard, which, listen, both teams love to ride. I love that about this matchup. It means we're going to get a lot of physicality, a lot of chaos on the field, and that's kind of usually the formula to a great lacrosse game, a little bit of chaos.
It's interesting. I think Cold Spring Harbor, is going to have to be really efficient with the ball, limiting mistakes, because if they lose the face-off battle and they're getting 10-man ride, possessions are going to be key in what they do with them. And of course, Farmingdale's both teams are very well coached, but limiting mistakes is obviously a big part of all of it.
Without a doubt. And you saw the head coaches there a moment ago. It's not just a return for Hungerford, who has spent 4 years as an assistant coach under Dennis Bond, but it is also the case for John Campbell, one of his assistants coaches. He was the offensive coordinator here at Cold Spring Harbor for 10 years. In fact, he was the OC when Cold Spring Harbor won their first ever state championship. You look at the face-off X, and we'll show you those guys who will do battle all game. On your left, you see it's Bryce Kipnis. That's his face-off percentage a year ago. And to the right there is C.J. Mangio, a guy who is either right at the level or just below an Annunziata or a Gerard out of Manhasset.
I left the box a little earlier there.
Yeah, you can understand. Bond said, look, he expected when that Farmingdale bus arrived, there's going to be a lot of hooting and hollering because it is game one. It's under the lights as well. So a lot of excitement for the Dalers. And if you're Hungerford and his staff, you're also kind of want to manage that a little bit, right? You don't want to get too amped up or too excited or go over the edge there.
Yeah, I mean, I expect Cold Spring Harbor to really work this opening possession. Just get everybody a touch, get everybody a feel. Oh, nice defensive play there.
Yeah, Bauer lost it. And I believe on that far side, it was, there he is right now, Dylan Mehta, who was an incredible defensive midi for St. Anthony's the last couple of years. And we'll see him kind of stay on, use that athleticism. As you see, he gets the clear. And now it's the Dalers on attack to start things off. I got to have a word with Hungerford. It's not even that dark yet in these jerseys. The backs of these jerseys are nearly impossible to see.
Yeah, I'm just going to study the way they run, Dylan. I feel like that would be easier. He's an impressive-looking athlete, though.
The feed in front, it deflected. I do know who Caden Lennon is. That is for sure. He's that big dude right now who's going GLE.
He's hard to miss, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Looks like one of these light towers.
They work it to X. I believe that's O'Keefe, turning, spinning.
It's interesting how these, the teams have to feel each other out the first quarter, right? And everyone's a little nervous, but I mean, everyone's going to test their guy in the opening possessions here.
Cangelosi gets it back out, and there's Tomaso Ramos, a fixture here. Actually was a Stony Brook lacrosse commit, switched it to Cortland State to play football because he had an outstanding season for Buddy Krumanacher's Dalers. That pass deflected, so the Dalers maintain this opening possession.
It's a good possession for them. They get to re-attack here. It's like a double whammy. I would expect this to be a dodge here, yeah.
Short stick matchup.
Good save.
Yeah, first one for Kirshner.
Always like to get that first save. Gives you a lot of confidence going forward.
Baca was there, so the Dalers maintain this possession. See O'Keefe bringing it back out. And there's Ramos. Gets it far side. Meta brings his man to X, and they work it to this side now. And as expected, Anthony, a patient.
Very deliberate.
Yep.
Very deliberate, which is, understandable. You're trying to feel each other out, right?
11 was Jake Norton. Wrapping around the cage, and there is the first goal of the game, and it goes to the Dalers, and it goes to Mr. Meta.
Yeah, I mean, nice move to his left hand. Takes the contact. He's an athlete. Impressive.
And there you see him taking advantage. He has the short stick matchup.
So what's great about this is he initiates the contact at goal line extended, which wins the matchup there. Able to turn the corner.
Slide came late, and he took advantage. So 1-0 Dalers early on Dylan Meta's first, and Mangio just sends it backwards, but the ground ball is scooped up.
It's Calabretta,
by
right?
Hayden Calabretta.
Great ground ball. Tough ground ball.
So after not winning one all game, it's a 2-0 advantage for Cold Spring Harbor, although that ball now thrown away.
Over and back here.
And there is Lennon to take it. Talk about a guy who could bull dodge, man.
Going to have to eliminate those kinds of mistakes, Dylan, though. You know, obviously with a 10-man ride and a nice bouncer.
So it's 2-0 as Sal Pasilico gets his first goal of the year.
You know, in transition like that, you know, so you're coming down in transition and the defense really isn't set up for slides. It's a great take. You know, there's nobody helping him, and he obviously initiates contact, gets some space, and releases his hands. Great shot.
Pasilico, a guy similar to Meta, but just in a bit of a smaller package. Another great football player, running back, linebacker, all county in the fall, a playmaker all over the field.
Good face-off.
Mangio goes backwards again. This time the ground ball is picked up by Pasilico. So another possession now for the Dalers. An early 2-0 lead for Farmingdale.
Interesting on the face-off, Dylan, that they're playing the fast break a lot, so it's given Farmingdale that easy rake out to their to the wingman for the possessions. Uncontested ground balls, you know.
Slide comes, ball kicked out top. Sidearm shot, and it's 3 for 3 for the Dalers on shots. And it's a 3-0 lead. This time, the goal scorer was James Goodrich.
Man, that's a great shot off hip. You know, Kirchner's was on it, though. He was definitely on it. I think he even hurt his jersey, if I'm correct. He was stepped to his left. It was just a great shot. Good placement.
See the pass out top from O'Keefe. And a good shot from distance there by Goodrich, the Bridgeport commit. His dad, tremendous player at Hicksville, and then was an All-American at New York Tech.
Cold Spring Harbor needs a possession here, Dylan.
Yeah, quick 3-0 hole here with 7:23 left. And again, it's rinse and repeat for the Dalers. Mangio wins it backwards. The ground ball's picked up by Ramos, and the Dalers are back on attack.
I think they played a long pole on that face-off, right, Dylan? I think trying to maybe
we saw
possession.
Yeah, we saw that a lot too. You know, we saw them double pole on face-offs. We saw multiple looks. Sammy Bruno got involved as well as maybe like that third look. Still trying to figure things out. Obviously, a year ago, that wasn't a problem. You had Max Hawkinson, who was the face-off stay-on guy, a little bit like Luca Accardo was for Syosset, but there isn't necessarily that guy, and Kipnis is forced to do a big save there by Kirshner, especially considering the situation. You're down 3. The Dalers have the ball. They scored 3 straight goals, and that's an important save.
And here's that 10-man ride. And they're riding hard, and you know that's a juice that's a juice ride.
Absolutely, and you could hear it from the sideline as well. Listen, Hungerford said, you know, if I told my guys you could scrimmage for 2 hours,
there's a 10-man, nice shot, way to shoot.
That they might actually kill themselves. He's got to dial it back at practice. That's how hard they want to go, and that's one thing we saw there. That long distance shot from Bauer, and we've seen on the college ranks too. When you 10-man ride, if you can get that shot towards the empty cage, maybe you second guess going back to the 10-man ride. It was a missed shot, but that's not something that Bond disliked, right? Because again, now you've got to think about it, realizing that Cold Spring Harbor is willing to take that shot at the empty net.
You got to break it early, and if you break it early and often enough, you know, you'll settle back into another ride, right? This is an interesting matchup here, CJ versus
Riley against Meta. The help
Meta
comes as well. He hands off. Quick ball movement. Sidearm shot and a goal, and the foul.
A little late hit there.
Bauer scores the goal, and he felt the effects of it. We'll see what what the call will be.
It's a great step-down shot, Dylan. I mean, he doesn't take the extra cradle. I mean, we always talk about this as coaches, you know, being able to catch loaded, we call it, right? You know, being in a spot where you can just fire right away before the defense can rotate.
Calabretta the assist. Bauer, a really good-looking sophomore, still, though, down on the field. And one of the officials walking his way to the table, so we'll see what this call is. Count the goal.
It's good to see.
Unnecessary.
Maybe just got his wind knocked out of him.
1 minute. So good to see Bauer up. But, yeah, listen, really good-looking kid. 2 assists in that opening season win over Huntington. Was a guy who was part of that second midfield unit a year ago with Sammy Bruno. This year, a first midfield guy. He's already getting some Ivy and Big Ten attention. So off the goal and then the foul, that also negates now the face-off, which, again, you would say edge to Farmingdale. So this is an important kind of sequence of events here for Cold Spring Harbor.
Yeah, for the viewers at home, that's what we call a dead ball foul. The goal is scored. The penalty happens. It negates all face-offs, right? So that's why they get the possession right away.
And good to see Bauer right away coming out of the box. He's good to go.
It's good to see. In a 2-3-1 here. You're going to feel out the defense a little bit, what kind of rotation they're in. A little sideways diamond. And, nice shot overhand to off hip here.
Hey, listen, if you don't close in on your man, right, and P.J. Haskell scored a big goal against Huntington, and now he gets his second goal of the season, a man-up goal, and he's pulled the Seahawks to within 1.
Yeah, PJ's he's a big boy.
Yeah.
And I don't think the camera's doing him any justice here, but that's a great overhand shot to that off hip. I mean, Ip, there's no slouch in cage, right? So that's just a really good shot. I like the way Cold Spring Harbor's coming back here, Dylan, fighting through, that 3-0 deficit, right?
As you mentioned, they poll again on the face-off. This time it'll be a hold. So it'll be Farmingdale ball.
I mean, at least they scrummed it up there, right? So, I mean,
yeah.
Now you can settle back and play 6-on-6 defense.
And that's something they couldn't do against Annunziata the other night.
A lot of transition, right?
And they had hoped, listen, again, you bring the poles in, but he was winning so many things right away and obviously got into a rhythm, won all 18 of his face-offs on the night. Right now it's a lot closer. It's Mangio winning 3 of his 5. And he's a guy, he's going to stay on. We'll see, again, a lot of different looks for Cold Spring Harbor, but C.J. Manzio will be the guy. He's a Fogo. He'll stay on and or he will, come off and take every one of those face-offs. GB, and those are so important.
Oh, interference, yeah.
Yeah, an interference against the Dalers, so Cold Spring Harbor. And here comes that ride again. It is a 10-man ride.
Yes, they did push up.
And another shot at the cage and another shot wide of the mark. So you love the chess match between the head coaches.
A couple more of those, Dylan. I got to imagine they'll back off it a little bit. Here or there, maybe put it back in. But a smart play.
It's funny when you watch, as we do, so many college games, and how many of these goals, right? These long poles, 60 yards out, like are knocking these in the empty net, and it's really, at least on the Division I level, seemingly negating the effectiveness of the 10-man ride.
I mean, there are some really effective 10-man rides out there. I'm sure if you've seen Virginia, Virginia or North Carolina,
and perhaps no surprise, and Ian Laviano comes out of Cold Spring, right, for the way that Dennis Bond loves to have his teams ride, and he goes to Virginia, does the same thing there.
Big time rider, big time. I mean, that's the one thing with kids now. They got to learn to ride as attackmen. All these colleges want that big time ride.
And there's Haskell. Again, he's got the short stick matchup.
Obviously, that's his left. Scouted really well. And he did a good job there.
That pass back out top, though, ended up being a bouncer. So now it's a scrum for the ball, and Haskell seemingly came away, but it's Riley who does. And a timeout by Cold Spring Harbor. So you've got 2 to use, and here, ground ball on the floor. So the Seahawks look to take their first timeout.
It's a physical matchup. It's a really, and especially in the middle of the field.
We take a look at the new, I think out today actually, the Varsity Media Sweet 16 poll, and you see at the top St. Anthony's, what an opening start of the year for the Friars. They beat Culver in a neutral site game in Pennsylvania. Then they beat Chaminade by 2, and then they go to Gilman in Maryland, and they beat them handily. So a 3-0 start for the Friars. Chaminade right behind them at 1-1. Manhasset yet to play. Northport, a good opening season win over Port Washington. Mount Sinai beating Garden City, so they'll flip, you see there. And Cold Spring Harbor, again, beating Huntington. And Massapequa, they took a drop. They're an 0-2 start, and they actually take on Chaminade tomorrow, a game that we'll have for you right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. You know the kids love that,
fun
though.
Season. Oh, it's going to be a fun season. I'm looking at this, this list, and lists are great, right? They're hard to create. They're hard, because you never know, and I'm sure it'll change them, half a dozen times in the next 2 weeks. But
there's always a lot of conversation on social, and speaking of social, you want to follow us on our social media at Varsity Media, at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and also you want to hit that subscribe button here on our YouTube channel to follow all of the action throughout the lacrosse season. A good look there at Dennis Bond, head coach here at Cold Spring Harbor. Said it was an interesting one the other night because he is from Huntington. He lives there, yeah. He plays bocce ball with a lot of the parents at Huntington. He's in a league, and his daughter Laurel is the valedictorian at Huntington, a big star for their lacrosse team and field hockey as well. So he's glad he can be back friends with all those Huntington guys in town.
Give it a week, though. Gotta get over it for a week.
So here's McGloin off the timeout, gets it to Riley. We're inside of the final 3 minutes of this first quarter. And a good job by Cold Spring Harbor coming back to cut their deficit to 1. McGloin harassed by Meta. And Meta's a guy, too. We'll see him again. He was a specialist at St. Anthony's as a defensive midfielder, but we'll see him stay on. Here's Haskell.
Well, you see nowadays, defensive middies they need to push in transition. Albany's getting a good one. I really think he's impressive.
Oh, how about that save?
Great save by Ip there.
Denies Brady McKean. So his first save in a Daler jersey, at least since middle school. And now it's the Dalers looking to maybe push it here in transition.
Daler's doing a good job on the clear. I think it's under control. Very settled. Get some subs here.
Yeah, coming out of the box.
Very deliberate on both sides.
Yep.
Right. Not a lot of transition going on. So very well coached teams trying to get back in the hole.
Here's Basilico, gets on his horse, sidearm shot wide.
Oh, yeah.
And no backup.
When and where, right? When and where it goes out, Dylan. Cold Spring Harbor beat him to the line.
And here we go again. It's the game inside of a game. The 10-man ride continues for the Dalers. And you could hear them hooting and hollering, man. They love this 10-man ride.
They do. It's fun.
What they try to do is look at this. Look at this battle. And a flag is thrown.
Very physical.
And you could argue a second one could have been thrown as well, and that's the argument from Hungerford. Watch it again. How much fun is this?
I think it's that one. A little high. I don't know. I mean, some of it's good. It's a lot of stuff going on right there.
Well, that's a 30-second push is the call. But one thing that Dennis Bond said about the 10-man ride is they try to take away the middle and then force it to the sideline, and then the LSM comes in. And
it mimics a lot of Virginia's 10-man ride, to be honest with you. If you watch a Virginia ride, they try to trap you, spread it out, trap you on the sidelines. But there they just threw it in the middle. They actually kind of threw it into
right into the teeth of it.
Right into the teeth of it.
Haskell getting additional minutes now. He's on the man-up after scoring that man-up goal. Nice look down to the crease, and C.J. Riley, the second man-up goal, and we are tied at 3.
Yeah, C.J. does a good job at just, kind of nestling into this voided area. I'm actually surprised they let him so open here. You can't see it from here, but he was there for a couple seconds.
I believe it was Bauer who had the pass. So C.J. Riley gets his first of the night, had 2 against Huntington. And listen, you're going to be aggressive with the 10-man ride. Sometimes you're going to lead the penalties, but Cold Spring Harbor, they're not scoring on those empty netters, but they're scoring on the man up. So that's 2 man up goals.
2 man up goals, right? So you kind of want to stay away from being man down if you're Farmingdale. And there's the 10-man ride again, or version of it, right, where we throw the Cold Spring Harbor throws it away.
Inside the final minute of the first quarter, and now the Seahawks with it's not a 10-man, but they will ride. That is for sure. However, the Daler is able to get right down Broadway and perhaps here set up for something of a last shot opportunity.
I believe Farmingdale has a timeout, but maybe they're just letting it go here. Interesting. Normally you'd want to call timeout, get all your offensive guys on there, but I can see why they want to push here.
Here's Ramos. Goes across the field.
Slide there.
12 seconds. We'll try it with Cangelosi. Works off a pick. Cangelosi. Good defense here by Cold Spring Harbor. 3 seconds.
Good defense here. Really good defense.
And Cold Spring Harbor does the job, not even allowing a shot on the Daler's final possession of the quarter. Well, Farmingdale scored on their first 3 shots of the quarter, but then C.J. Riley came back, the second man-up goal of the first quarter, and he ties things up at 3. It's Farmingdale and Cold Spring Harbor, and you're watching it right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
I'm Dr. Ajay Padaki, and I'm an orthopedic surgeon at Northwell Health Syosset Hospital. I'm a specialist in sports medicine and treat injuries of the shoulder, elbow, hip, and knee. Specifically, I see patients that have injuries to their shoulder at all levels. That means I see high school athletes that suffer from injuries such as shoulder dislocations, to older patients who have tears of the rotator cuff and have arthritis that may need shoulder replacements. I aim to restore each patient to their highest level of function. That means that we can proceed with non-operative treatments such as physical therapy and injections, all the way to doing surgeries, so that shoulders that are dislocating are now stable, and that shoulders that have arthritis or rotator cuff tears no longer have pain and are as optimized as possible. I'm happy to see any patient and allow them to tell me about what level of activity they want to get back to. I see patients at Woodbury, Belmore, and Great Neck.
And we welcome back to Cold Spring Harbor. 3-3 after 1. Dylan Butler, Anthony Alexander, and our entire Varsity Media crew. That was a fun first quarter, Anthony. We saw a lot of different things. We saw certainly battles, the physicality, the 10-man ride, man-up goals, and that was only in 12 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, physical play. I mean, I would love to be a fly inside their huddles. I mean, I got to imagine from a Farmingdale standpoint, better shots, right? They got to take better shots, opportunities, less penalties, right? That's what I'd be saying, I think. I think Coach Hungy would be saying that. Coach Bond, we got to clean up that clear. Got to clean up that clear, and you can get some more possessions out of it.
So you see they poll again. It's Caden O'Connor, one of our impact players. So you not only are you polling at the face-off, now you've got polls at both wings as well. So kind of a triple poll here for Cold Spring Harbor.
Yeah, they're all hip to hip too, which means they're going to let them fight.
Yeah, they're coming after you.
yeah, they're going to let them fight here. And it works here.
Mangio and it looks like he was beaten. He came back and he battled, and the scrap does in fact go to O'Connor.
So the trick here is you have 3 poles out there at the midfield. The subbing here becomes interesting. So I wonder if they'll change that. A little kayak trick there.
Sammy Bruno. And Bauer comes out of the box.
Sammy, a sophomore. Got a chance to see him play a lot over the summer. Good player. Smart player.
Yeah, Anthony runs the Igloo Lacrosse program, and see a lot of these guys, either they are playing for you or they're playing against you, and one of the main reasons we got you on here, just because you've a wealth of knowledge, not only of the sport, but also of seeing so many of these kids.
Yeah, I mean, it's, whether you are coaching against them or they're coaching, or you're coaching them directly, you admire some of these kids and, their progressions. It's a very deliberate offensive possession.
Bauer switches hands, skips it to Riley, and he finishes it.
Great play. They catch Farmingdale, doubling. He rolls back and obviously sees the skip pass through. Skip passes are the worst, obviously, from a defensive standpoint. They just break down the defense here, but this is a great turn away from pressure here. Slides out, they're going to go a little faster there. CJ does a great job of pulling that, though. Yeah.
Second goal of the game for CJ Riley. First lead of the game for the Seahawks, and it's a second straight game now. This time it was early. The last time it was late, where we've seen Cold Spring Harbor battle back from a deficit and take a lead. They led throughout in that Huntington game, and they trailed it, though, with 6 minutes left. Mangio somehow comes away with it, and flags fly. So it'll be Farmingdale's first opportunity to go man up.
I think it was a back check, probably. I mean, that's a point of interest late these days, right? So right there, right?
It'll be a 30-second push.
Oh, push, all right.
That against Timmy Pisano. So, yes, another Pisano wearing 19.
Dylan, how would you like to be facing off against 3 poles? In the midfield?
I'd rather be one of the poles. I'd rather be the guys whacking around than
you take it.
Oh my goodness. I played hockey in my youth, so played defense as well. So yeah, give me that pole, please. So the Dalers' first opportunity on the man up.
In the 2-3-1. This is a very popular set in college and high school right now. To be running.
Bruno picks up the cutter. Good job there defensively. It's Lennon. Sidearm shot and the save.
There. Yeah. He read that the whole way.
Third save for Kirshner.
And we're looking long to attack. Oh.
That's a great bounce for Calabretta. The extra pass and the low finish.
Little transition. We haven't seen that all game yet. Little transition.
And it's Reagan Riley. Reagan. The mom told us.
Is it Reagan?
It's Reagan.
Okay.
Don't have her come back up to the booth. Look at this, though. The bounce and Calabretta. I love this decision, too, right? Because just plays a two-man game. Good fake there as well. Changing levels a little bit for Reagan, the junior. Scored a goal. Had a couple of ground balls as well against Huntington.
Calabretta's like, look what I found.
Yeah.
The ball plays through, catches it. Nice 2-on-1.
His second assist of the game. And a hold was called, so it would be Farmingdale ball off of that. But you're right. Listen, if you can muck it up a little bit as that pole, now you like the advantage you have because you're going for a ground ball with poles against short sticks. So,
well, in the worst case scenario, you're going to play them 6-on-6 like they want, right? I mean, both clubs want to play 6-on-6 defense, right? They want transition and offense, but.
And in fact, Mama Riley was just relaying the message from Grandma Riley in Florida. At halftime, she's like, listen, let the announcer know. It's Reagan, please. So, we got you, Grandma. Here's Lennon. I want to see him lower that shoulder and dodge. Spins, turns. Oh, my goodness.
This is an elite play. This is an elite play where You initiate contact on your dodge, create separation, and quick turn and shoot. I mean, it's almost impossible for the goalie to pick this shot up.
Watch the big man again.
Gets low here. Look, creates the contact, sees the bumps him off, spin. Very hard to read this shot.
Great placement.
Sign me up for that.
Yeah, Caden Lennon a year ago, 13 goals and a couple of assists. He's got size and strength, and we saw there he can overpower a defender. He's going to Bryant.
How tall is he doing?
6'5", 225.
That's impressive.
He is a D-end and tight end in football. And for him, too, like, he's not anywhere near reaching his ceiling. He's got a lot of lacrosse growth ahead of him as a face-off win for the Dalers. And there is one of Hungerford's 2 timeouts that he utilizes here, with his team trailing by 1 with 8:51 left in this second quarter.
He's a Bryant commit, huh?
Yep. We mentioned before, big one tomorrow. We go back to Gold Star Stadium where Chaminade takes on Massapequa. Also tomorrow, same time. So you can do a little split screen action, right? Or it's Garden City and Syosset, St. John the Baptist and West Babylon, a non-league showdown there. And then a lot of the fun matchups. They're all fun, really, all throughout the year. But Garden City, Cold Spring Harbor, Darien makes the trip across. It's the Battle of the Sound against Manhasset and Farmingdale and Southside. Every one of these games right here in the Varsity Media Sports Network. I love the fact that Darien, listen, we had the COVID year, and then you couldn't travel a lot of these teams, and that's one of the more fun rivalries that we've seen throughout the years. And it's on both the girls and the boys side. But Darien coming across or Manhasset going up to Darien, those games are so much fun. Jeff Braemar does an incredible job with the Blue Wave. And again, you want to hit that subscribe button to us here on our YouTube channel. Also follow us on our social media handles at Varsity Media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
This one's shaping up to be a good one, Dylan. I'd buy a ticket to this one.
You didn't even have to. How great was that?
I know, but I'd still buy a ticket for it.
You just parked your truck, it came up, and you're on the call.
It's a good game.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Fun. I just can't believe how aggressive it's super aggressive, this one. Both teams obviously want it, tremendously. They're obviously ranked right next to each other in your list that we keep talking about that the kids love.
There's Ippoliti being chased. Good job getting it to the middle. And it's funny, the transfer portal is such a big conversation in the collegiate ranks, and we kind of joked with Hungerford in our conversation leading up to this, but man, he hit the transfer portal and got a pair of home runs because he gets Dylan Mehta and he gets Ippoliti coming back into the district, and those are 2 high impactful players. And it's funny too because Hungerford said both guys actually called him and said, "Coach, is it okay if I come back?" Because they were a little bit worried about the acceptance. You never know, right? When you leave the district and you leave your boys that you've played with since you were kids and you go to a Catholic school or in this case a Catholic school or a private school, or you never know kind of how you'll be accepted. But it was absolutely open arms by the entire Dalers lacrosse program.
Well, Dylan, when you have such great players, are you going to say no? No, don't come back.
Well, I mean, think about it too. I mean, if you're not thinking of the team as there's Lennon, you could be like, well, those are my minutes, or that, I would be in the cage. But really, everyone to a man were like, let's go. And how about this? How about that finish?
Look at that
by
hitch and
Cangelosi.
Hitch and go by Matt here. He really catches the defender on a bad approach. I mean, this is nice.
Lennon spins.
Look at them slide so fast to him here upfield. Good shot. Good shot. Good shot. So, when you slide adjacent like that, it's very easy for the Dodger to see the open man. And then, obviously, when he threw it forward to Matt, caught the guy on a bad approach. It's a good little play.
This time it's Theo Torres. We saw O'Connor before, and Torres now trying his luck at the face-off X, a win for the Dalers and Mangio.
I'm just trying to change it up a little bit.
And what I think you like if you're the Dalers, as Hungerford will talk it over, is of your 5 goals, 5 different goal scorers to this point. So the offense and the attack is being utilized by, a lot of balance early on for the Dalers. Good look there at Hungerford, and he said, listen, this collective group, he said, it might go down as one of his favorites of all time in terms of just kids and personalities, and loves this group as a whole. He says really they didn't really talk much about last year and the tight losses, the close losses, and it's not really come up in the preseason. He liked what he saw in practice and scrimmage against Garden City. He said his team made a lot of good decisions. They followed the plan of how they want to play. He likes the attitude, and we mentioned it before, a lot of battle-tested guys on this Farmingdale team, some who haven't started, but they've been around the program, and again, now taking a more advanced role this season.
I mean, when you have a balanced scoring attack, as I'm seeing here, it makes it hard for the other coach to say, hey, I can take away this, and this, I'll get a result of this, right? So, I think that's interesting how balanced that is. I just haven't seen much transition. We have one transitional play that I can think of.
Goal again.
Yeah, really. Yeah, see how he slid upfield, and it just creates offense for Farmingdale a little bit. A great pitch and go.
One of the captains of this team is Cangelosi. Another one of these program guys, and has great work ethic, a vocal leader.
Athletic build. Very athletic looking.
He might be the strongest on this team as well. Was a center defensive end, 6', 200. He's going to play at LIU, but a center and D end for Buddy Krumanacher's football team.
LIU, growing program.
In fact, the starting goalie right now for LIU is a former Daler himself. So many great goalies have come out of Farmingdale.
It's like a factory.
Oh, my goodness. Sean Gilman's the current guy right now at LIU, but we could speak more about the kind of Mount Rushmore of goalies out of Farmingdale. You got like a John Leslowski who went to Rutgers, 81 graduate, made 800 saves in his high school career. Good defense there by Cold Spring Harbor.
Is that the sign?
O'Connor, 3, couldn't pick it up off the carpet. And now here's a little bit, almost a transition type of opportunity after the ground ball, but the Dalers again will go to a more settled set.
Way to keep his stick in the passing lane there. Forces the turnover.
All right, back to the goalie. Rob Mulligan, 90s, All-American, Syracuse. Anthony Tefano was the first Nassau Player of the Year. Manny DeLuca, of course, went to Delaware now with the Water Dogs in PLL, so it's on and on, man.
Yeah, Anthony Tefano, coach for Igloo. He's one of our coaches. Great goalie. I mean, the series of goalies is just ridiculous, to be honest.
All right, listen, Anthony Alexander did not say I had to say your name. I said that without him even saying it, so if you're watching, Anthony, that was all on me. Ground ball in front and a violation. I'm not sure if it might have been a crease violation.
Yeah, I think it was a crease violation.
And they continue the 10-man ride. Love it.
Yeah, they get pretty excited here.
Yeah. This is what they want to do. Bond tries to call timeout. He does get it. And I think if you watch the film for Farmingdale, that's exactly what we said they want to do, right? You want to force them to the sideline, and that's when you
pinch, right?
Yeah, watch it again. Exactly where you don't want to be, right? Because you got the pole there pushing you out, and there you see Bond getting up the field, calling the timeout. So that's his final timeout. Actually, both teams used their allotted timeouts in the first half.
Yeah, it's that's going to be a major adjustment they're going to have to make at halftime because the way they're rotating in Farmingdale on this 10-man ride is they're kind of like 4 across on this 10-man. So depending on where you're bringing it up, they're pinching that. And then in order to make or get a successful, like, easy clear, you're going to have to go opposite side. So throw it one sideline, throw it opposite sideline. Right. It's a very difficult pass to make. So it's a very good 10-man ride.
Yeah, or make sure you've got that backup and you send that shot towards the cage. As Bond said of that Huntington win, he was, for the most part, really happy. He thought they dominated every aspect of the first half with the exception of the face-off X. Thought his team controlled the pace, the time of possession. In the second half, said Huntington scored their goals in bunches, but overall he was ecstatic. Listen, they were down 7-6 late. He said our kids could have hung their heads, got some great spacing on that late winner we showed you from Calabretta, but it was a great game, a rivalry game. He was glad that they came out on top and was mostly proud of how his team, he said, how his kids didn't fold. 5-5 here with 5:28 left in the first half. You got to imagine a lot of that conversation with Bond and his team was about handling that 10-man ride and what you've got to do and where you've got to get the ball. And
I think you brought up a good point at the beginning of the broadcast, Dylan. It's hard to mimic what people are going to do in practice. So, I think they're seeing it now. They're going to make some adjustments. Coach Bond will definitely make some adjustments.
And even if when you do it at practice, you're kind of seeing where guys are going. So like you can kind of hedge your cheat based on what your own teammate is doing at practice. Seeing it live for the first time, it's difficult. And those were the kind of things I'd imagine too. Bond wouldn't be too pleased with those passes back out, sloppy passes leading to scrums.
Well, I mean, to Farmingdale's credit, they're pressuring out on the offensive players and they're forcing bad passes.
And the Dalers come away with it. And they can have a situation here off the...
Good move.
Pole goal!
Did you see the split dodge from the pole? I love it. I love it.
Trevor Gayron had a short stick last year, played like it this year, and he's got the Dalers up 6-5.
I love it. Look at the walk-off home run try. I love it. I love it.
Watch it again.
Look at this left.
The skip.
Right.
Woo!
Oh, baby.
Oh,
and he puts the sword in the holster. I love it.
Gayron not only gets the goal, but he gets points for the celly.
It's a good celebration.
Had 3 goals and 3 assists a year ago, and Hungerford says he is one of the very best kids I've ever coached. And also, we mentioned the 50 number being special. So, too, is the number 40. It's the Krummenacher number 40. So, Gayron gets that recognition this year.
I mean, that's definitely a confidence booster, right? When you get a pull that scores, especially if someone doesn't get a lot of opportunities to do it, I mean, that's definitely going to lift me up. I mean, look at this defense. Look at this defense. Yeah.
They'll get an over and back.
It's great defense.
And again, it's coming right off of giving up a goal.
Forrest really getting after it. That's just a true competitor there, Dylan. I mean, he was all over that.
Yeah, he's that returning LSM. Theo Torres is.
Here's Bruno, 47. 44.
The last of the Brunos.
Moyne.
Jacob and Ben currently at Amherst, both playing lacrosse.
Bauer, McGloin, and Bruno. So, going to be a very deliberate approach here.
And
with
Riley,
41 left, right?
And Anthony Riley's a guy too who doesn't leave the field. So in these situations, he'll move up to the attack line, and Bruno comes in on essentially the first midfield unit.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to, I don't know if they're going to be able to handle 3.5 minutes of offense, but they will try to possess most of this clock.
Bruno gets downhill. What a save by Ippoliti. Not only does he make the first one, but then the rebound pops up and he makes sure it doesn't go in the cage. Wow.
Ooh.
And that one goes through the crease. Here's Lennon.
A little slow break there. Ooh,
Lennon stripped away by O'Connor.
O'Connor getting low.
That's some great defense.
That's great defense. I mean, he must be giving up, 50 pounds? I mean, that's great defense. Got nice and low, match feet.
So I was excited to get my first glimpse live of Ippoliti. I watched him on tape, but tell you what.
He's explosive, right? He's explosive. He's got good feet, tracks the ball well.
Going up to play for Gary Gate in the dome. A whole lot of other Long Island guys, that is for sure.
Yeah, heavy on the Long Island now. You know, when I was growing up, I grew up in Syracuse, Dylan, right? So I grew up in East Syracuse, Manila. And at the time, it was only upstate guys.
Yeah.
You know, mostly upstate or Yorktown guys. You know, like Paul Carcaterra.
Sure.
I grew up with Paul, Casey Powell.
Yeah.
All right, they're getting possessions where they need to.
Now you got a lot of, obviously, Joey Spallina and the twins Brett and Jake will be there next year. And shot towards the cage, not there.
They can't go.
And now it's the ride by Cold Spring Harbor.
I was afraid he actually went in and out with the ball and there's a stick, but he didn't. It was just up against the side of the net.
A lot of chaos here tonight.
It's an interesting couple of minutes right now. I mean, it's just the ball's up and down. Great defense.
And again, pause turnover. Now the Seahawks.
Here we go with Bruno running the field. Oh,
Bruno has a go. He didn't miss by much.
Smart.
Backup was
trapped
there.
Did you see that trap that they're running there in the middle of the field? Smart play. I expected big things with Bruno, you know, sophomore in the next couple of years.
Yeah, really, it's going to be a lot of Bruno and Bauer kind of leading that charge. Brady McKean as well, and that's one of the things you love too. What Dennis Bond does with this group, the younger guys, they get their minutes, man. They're playing important roles, and when you can get a Bauer and a Bruno and a McKean to see the minutes that they do and see the reps that they get here as sophomores, as there's Bauer's low shot is saved by Ippoliti. That only means big things as they get older in their high school career.
Ooh, that's a flag. Now it's going to get a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah. A little feisty here at midfield.
It's kind of a blatant push in the back. You know, I mean, that shot selection there ends up in transition. Bad shots obviously always do. The ref Billy here, he's going to try to straighten this all out.
30-second push on the Dalers. Watch it again.
So that was a good play.
Excuse me.
The second, yeah, I don't know if that. Usually the rule is you see the number on the back of the jersey.
Yeah.
You leave it alone, you know. I try to get hip to hip and box out.
So third man up opportunity for Cold Spring Harbor. They are 2 for 2.
I was just going to say they're 2 for 2. I wouldn't want to be going man down against them.
And we're also inside the final minute. It's a 30-second infraction. And a forced pass there by McGloin, trying to find Calabretta. Turns it over, so Cold Spring now will ride and try to get this turnover with 14 seconds left and the man up.
It's interesting. That was skip pass was wide open, I think. You know, Hayden was open. I think if it connects, it's a goal. Ooh. Wow,
physicality there by McGloin. Ball's on the carpet. It's picked up. Look at this. Oh, my goodness. Another flag is thrown.
Uh-oh. That man down here. Who's that? McGloin?
I thought it was. This will be a 30-second push as well. But McGloin, man, just selling out for his team.
The middle of the field, Dylan. I don't want to walk anywhere near the middle of this field. I just feel like you're gonna get tossed around.
And it's McGloin who picked up the penalty, so that'll be a 30-second push. It's the Dalers' second man up, and they are 0 for 1.
And to the refs' credit, I believe they're trying to let the kids play, which is great. You know, from a kid standpoint, you know, they're only calling the ones that are, you know, kind of drastic, but it's a heavy physical game here.
So here we go. 7 seconds. Rip.
That was definitely a goal.
Yeah.
That was definitely a goal.
It hit the inside. Yeah, it looked like that was Cangelosi.
I think it ricocheted off his stick. I could be wrong, but I think it did.
We'll watch it again.
See if we can pick this one up. It's a good step down here. Yeah.
Right under that crossbar.
Good shot.
So Cangelosi's second. So he's the first multiple goal scorer for the Dalers, and they've got a multiple goal lead, 7-5, with 3.4 seconds left. Final face-off, and both pole in it. And that one goes to a stalemate as the first half comes to a close. If you like your lacrosse, the physical variety, if you like riding, if you like just selling out for your team, this is the game for you.
There's a lot to unpack here.
Absolutely. And how about this? Cangelosi unpacks this one. He goes top shelf for the man-up goal, and he sends the Dalers into the break with a 7-5 lead. You're watching Farmingdale and Cold Spring Harbor do battle under the lights right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Varsity Media offers live sportscasts for any event. Our productions include announcers, multiple camera angles, graphics, instant replay, and so much more.
Hankinson getting it back. Hankinson going in, dropping it back. The shot of the goal! That's it! That's it! Norton! Pittsburgh, the Class A champions!
If you want to enhance your event or make the experience better for your viewers, reach out to Varsity Media today and learn more about our live sportscast. Contact Varsity Media at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
I'm Dr. Ajay Padaki, and I'm an orthopedic surgeon at Northwell Health Syosset Hospital. I'm a specialist in sports medicine and treat injuries of the shoulder, elbow, hip, and knee. Specifically, I see patients that have injuries to their shoulder at all levels. That means I see high school athletes that suffer from injuries such as shoulder dislocations, to older patients who have tears of the rotator cuff and have arthritis that may need shoulder replacements. I aim to restore each patient to their highest level of function. That means that we can proceed with non-operative treatments such as physical therapy and injections, all the way to doing surgeries, so that shoulders that are dislocating are now stable, and that shoulders that have arthritis or rotator cuff tears no longer have pain and are as optimized as possible. I'm happy to see any patient and allow them to tell me about what level of activity they want to get back to. I see patients at Woodbury, Belmore, and Great Neck.
Hi, I'm Gene Sterator, CBS Rules Analyst and longtime sports official. For the adults watching this video, you grew up in a world where officials, umpires, and referees for youth sports took their place regularly and reliably ahead of game time. Today, unfortunately, it's getting harder and harder to fill those jobs. Videos showing abusive treatment of officials multiply on social media, and there have been consequences for the dreadful behavior of players, fans, and coaches. Massive shortages of officials now lead to games being canceled, and the positive effects of athletic competition are at critical risk for this generation and those to come. I'm hoping we all can begin to see youth competition through a different lens. Today, mistreatment of officials has become normalized, and we are facing an abnormal future where no officials to hire means no games on the schedule.
Any call, any decision, any human effect on wins and losses has become subject to not just withering criticism, but physical threats. There's a vicious cycle at work. Fans chase away officials, and there is a smaller pool to draw from, which makes it harder to get quality, well-trained people in position. The entire game suffers.
Did you know, according to the National Federation of High Schools, 80% of new officials quit the game after just 2 seasons because of abusive behavior from the stands and sidelines? This sort of verbal abuse and threatening behavior takes a toll on all officials and makes them leave the game altogether.
Did you know from 2018 to 2022, an estimated 50,000 high school referees, roughly 20%, have quit? Half of the remaining referee population is at least 50 years old, but young officials are rarely staying more than 3 years in the job.
If the number of officials working contests in all sports doesn't begin to increase, there won't be enough officials to work the games. That means schedules will get cut, teams or even sports might get canceled. In many states, this is already happening.
Remember that officials are invested in what they do. Many officials have regular, full-time jobs, and they're sacrificing time away from their families. Try to demonstrate empathy. Put yourself in their position. Think how you would feel about getting yelled at throughout your workday.
Yelling and arguing with officials sends the wrong message to young players. According to Play by the Rules Sports Advocacy, it teaches them that it's not okay to make a mistake. They can blame others for their actions. They can disrespect authority figures. And it's okay to be rude and selfish.
You know, officials enforce rules, keep competitions fair, and make player safety a priority, allowing youth sports to be a valuable arena for growth. If we can all just work together and be more empathetic to not just the officials, but everyone else in youth and high school sports, we can then preserve what many of us have embraced about athletics. And you and I know the benefits of sports, right? Let's spread that gratitude and be proud of what we can build and not blind to how it's being torn down. Calling officials cheaters or corrupt, it's not a game.
Insulting referees, it's not a game.
Threatening officials, it's not a game.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes, it's not a game.
Violent language in the stands, it's not a game.
Verbal abuse from the sideline, it's not a game.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot, it's not a game.
So what happens now? Your response in the heat of the moment is the only thing you totally control, and we have an experiment for you to try. Simply stated, just cheer for your child or the team you're there to support. Move that desire to lash out to a different place and encourage without rage. Your child's sporting memory should be about how you helped inspire and not about how you caused embarrassment.
Now is the time to order a college recruiting video with Varsity Media. College recruiting videos can save thousands of dollars on college tuition and help land a spot on the team. Our videos include your best plays set to music with spot shadowing effects to help you stand out from the competition. Contact Varsity Media today and mention this ad to save 15%. Call 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net. Are you a local business looking to advertise? Well, Varsity Media is the perfect place for you. We offer affordable rates both inside our live stream broadcast and through our social media channels. With coverage all over Long Island targeting the 16 to 54 demographic, why not take advantage and advertise today? For pricing and inventory availability, contact us today at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media offers live streaming, videography, and photography services for all teams and individuals of all ages. In business since 2010, we are the trusted source when it comes to sports media coverage. If you have a big game that needs to be filmed or live streamed, or an athlete in need of action photography, reach out today and save 15% when you mention this ad. Contact us at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
And we welcome you back to Cold Spring Harbor, where it's a 7-5 lead for the Dalers. Tonight's game, I should say. We are under the lights, brought to you by the fine folks at Syosset Hospital Northwell Health. as well as the Long Island Metro Lacrosse Foundation and breakout goaltending as well. And Dylan Butler here with Anthony Alexander. And Anthony, we show you the breakout goaltending save of the game at the end. I think we have a pretty good idea, at least at this point, through the first 24 minutes, what save that will be. An incredible one of 3 on the game for Ippoliti, but it was an incredible save.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously see his athleticism, his tracking, right? Especially when he popped up after he gave the rebound. You know, it's hard to make clean saves as a goalie, but the fact that he reacted so quickly to, I think I know exactly which one you're talking about here, Dylan. So,
yeah, it was one that just kind of popped up on him, and it was a really impressive save. And we had a lot of ground ball battles and man up opportunities and riding, and it was a very physical and hard fought first half, but we kind of expected that. Look, that's the way both of these teams play. Why change how you're going to play? Look at the first half stats, and you see the shot edge by 2 for Farmingdale. Both goalies had made 3 saves, and the face-off battle being won right now by C.J. Mangio, and the man up could be a factor here again with the physicality. You see Cold Spring Harbor taking advantage with 2 goals on 3 man-up opportunities, and Farmingdale scoring on their last.
I am very interested to see how they come out in the third quarter. You know, what adjustments were made, because it's clear. You know, it's very clear what has to be done here, and I think, you know, both coaches are definitely going to make some. I'm just curious what they are. This is a good one, Dylan.
Yeah, it's been fun for sure, and it's O'Connor coming right out, so they'll pull right away, and again, it's a bit of a triple pull. You've got O'Connor at the face-off X, you've got Torres on this near side, and it's another pull.
Pisano.
I think it's, yeah, Pisano on the far side.
Sign me up to be the face-off guy, Dylan.
Let's get ready to rumble. Here we go.
Yeah, Caden. That's just way to stay with it, you know?
And it
runs away with it.
Yeah, it goes to Cold Spring Harbor.
A little transition here. Oh, Ip with a great save.
Another one for Ippoliti, his 4th of the game.
Ooh.
Battle in the corner. It's won by Reagan Riley.
Yeah, I gotta imagine no one's gonna call a timeout this early, you know, in the third quarter, right? To save their guy.
Ippoliti just sends it backwards. And you got to think at some point here it's going to be a failure to advance this ball. It's taken away by McGloin at midfield.
I imagine they're going to slow it down now. That would be a good time to slow it down. Bit of a melee.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, right. Yeah, the carnage. It's just, it's again what you get when 2 teams want to ride and they want to scrap, and every ground. Listen, both coaches said ground balls would be important, so you could see how they're being battled with ferocity, every single one of them.
I mean, the fact that both teams are willing to put their nose down and grab the ground balls, these very tough, difficult ground balls.
Slide comes at Bauer. Pops it up top. McGloin switches hands, dumps it down low. Turnaround shot. Reagan Riley saved by Ippoliti.
He tracked that ball from, 5-6 yards away? That was a great save.
His 6th of the game. And now the Dalers. Maybe they're going to push it a little bit. You go near side now.
So they've been playing defense for a good 2 minutes at this point, right? So I imagine a good possession.
Angelosi gets it back up top, and they will go from here. Chris Bergerson was a question mark for the Dahlers coming in was a little banged up in the preseason or in the games coming up. He did practice yesterday and was going to see some time. It's Meta, though, taking his spot on the first midfield unit. And Bergerson, whose dad, Chris, was a coach at MacArthur for many years, a former face-off guy at Hofstra. Sister Kelly plays at Quinnipiac as well. We'll see him more in the man-up just as he's getting back to full fitness.
Physical dodge there, but great defense.
Yeah, I think just size-wise, and I don't, I don't want to get anyone cringing here, but he is kind of size-wise the Brennan O'Neill of this Farmingdale team. Caden Lennon is.
He's a mammoth.
Yes. Ground ball picked up. Ramos gets it.
These ground balls are so vital to this game.
And here's Goodrich. Handing off. Low shot wide. And
nothing's easy for any offense at this point, which I think is just a testament of both coaches' defenses. Very good. Their slide packages.
Ramos has a go at Bauer. What a pass. Turnaround shot. And that's off the mark.
A heck of a cut right there. I think if he goes lefty, he might have an easier go at that shot.
Maybe BTB.
Definitely acrobatic. Sano doing a good job here.
Play the two-man game, the Dahlers do, from X. And an errant or a pass off a lid there, and it's recovered. As that's Goodrich now.
Good passes for the defense here. Got a one-on-one with basic no help.
Step down shot.
I think that got through, right? Ooh.
It did, and there's a foul against the Dahlers.
I think it was quite accidental, but still nonetheless. Now they get to set up in their 10-man ride here.
Yeah.
And now we can't wait to see what we've done at halftime to figure this out. All right, little punt return. Love that idea.
And you could even hear a lot of the parents, right, in the stand. Like they see the open net and everyone gets excited. And the law of averages says that probably one of these.
If I only had a remote control, right? What could we do then? But that was an interesting approach, Dylan. They took the short stick down low, bumped the defenseman up high so that they could do more of a punt return.
And now defensive, looks like they're trying to, Cold Spring is trying to lock off Cangelosi.
A little pressure. So early in the possession, pressuring out, right? I don't know if it was just him. I think it was pressuring a lot of guys. To see if they can make an early mistake in the possession. And this is interesting. We try to get the punt return again, and then we got the shot. Oh, that was close.
Back up there, though, and there you see it, Calabretta.
Hayden with, Hayden's hurt here.
Yeah, it took a slash, it looked like. No flags were thrown. But this was a situation, as again, it was Kirshner's shot.
Oh, he's
and you see the physicality there as well after the shot by Jackson Parisi.
What does it look like there, Dylan?
Yeah, it's hard to tell from here, but we'll take a quick break. 6:25 left here, third quarter. It is Farmingdale with a 7-6 lead over Cold Spring Harbor. You're watching it right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Now is the time to order a college recruiting video with Varsity Media. College recruiting videos can save thousands of dollars on college tuition and help land a spot on the team. Our videos include your best plays set to music with spot shadowing effects to help you stand out from the competition. Contact Varsity Media today and mention this ad to save 15%. Call 516-403-2050 or email jeff@varsitymedia.net. Varsity Media offers live sportscasts for any event. Our productions include announcers, multiple camera angles, graphics, instant replay, and so much more.
Hankinson getting it back. Hankinson going in, dropping it back. The shot of the goal! That's it! That's it! Norton! Pittsburgh, the Class A champions!
If you want to enhance your events or make the experience better for your viewers, reach out to Varsity Media today and learn more about our live sportscast. Contact Varsity Media at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
And we welcome you back to Cold Spring Harbor, and there you see Hayden Calabretto coming off, and I'm not a doctor, and I don't want to speculate, but it seemed like he had landed on that shoulder a little bit, and you can see the way that he's kind of holding his arm. So in his absence, and it comes right after he scores a goal, his first of this game, we're going to see C.J. Riley move up to the attack line and likely have Sammy Bruno come in for Riley on that first midfield.
And we go with the triple holes here. Seems to work.
A slash, and there's a penalty against Farmingdale.
I also think I see Roger Testa.
8th grader.
Yeah. He's a sophomore, I believe, right? Roger?
Could be a trip. Oh, excuse me. Here you see it again.
It's a full whack.
The first 1 minute penalty against the Dalers.
Here we go with that man up again.
They work it to X.
2 for 3, right?
Here's Haskell. They are 2 for 3. McGloin. .26 seconds left on the man up. Skips it. McGloin. Hands free. Bouncer. And Ippoliti saw that the entire way.
Yeah, that's a difficult one to get past it.
His 6th save, and see Ippoliti how good he is in the clearing game as well. Just smooth.
Yeah, he's athletic. Athletic. It's benefit.
So now 3, 2, and 1. So we'll be even as Farmingdale kills that man down as Norton comes out of the box. Here comes Pasilico. He's got a goal on this game. Great move by Pasilico. Flags fly on that shot wide of the mark. And this will be a 1 minute slash, it would appear. So I think a little bit you wonder if part of the conversation among the officials is they were trying to let them play in the first half, but we're seeing more of those 1 minute penalties now in the second half.
I talked to one of the refs in the halftime, Dylan, and they were saying they're going to have to control the game a little bit more.
So third man up opportunity for the Dalers. They are the fourth. They had that one right before halftime, so they are 1 for 3 on the man up. And they've got the 1-goal lead. Goal line extended. Low shot, save, rebound, goal.
Way to clean it up.
Looked like Jake Norton, 11. Watch it again. It's a good initial save, Anthony. Then Norton comes and crashes the crease.
Yeah, he tracks the ball well on the first save, and got to check sticks. Oftentimes when you get a good hard shot like that and you get a rebound, defense kind of relax just for a split second.
Norton, the Mercy commit, Division II, his older brother, an assistant at LAU. More flags fly off the face-off. And the thing is, too, Anthony, both teams are capitalizing on the man up. We see the penalty here. It'll be a hold, 30-second hold on Cold Spring Harbor.
I think they're lucky getting a push on this one. 30 seconds. Like I said, the refs are trying to let it go. I mean, that could very easily be the back of the head there, I think. But, everyone's just playing aggressive, which, they both want it, both competing teams.
In fact, you know what? They did call the push as well. So we were both right. The initial was a hold on the face-off, then the push from behind. So we're playing 6-on-4 now for the next 30 seconds. Big opportunity for the Dalers. Yeah. Up 2 men, up 2 goals, make it 3 goals. Right at the crease, a terrific finish. Yeah. And there he is again, Jake Norton.
Very tough in a 4-man rotation, right, to cover 6 guys. It's a great through look.
Yeah, the pass came from O'Keefe, so he gets another assist on the day. Now Jake Norton getting a little bit of the hot hand. Another great program guy. Has worked his way up the ladder, a grinder. He does all those little things. Excellent off-ball player as well. And O'Connor gets the GB and the face-off win. Their first in a while. He goes to the cage. Ippoliti, the save.
Great save. Great save. Great move by Caden now. Now we got to get back in the hole.
Momentum shifting now to the Dalers. They've got a 3-goal lead. And that could be one of those juice saves. This could be a juice goal. But Kirshner climbs the ladder to make the save.
They're pressuring, early in the possession, Dylan, trying to get some, it's almost like a 10-man ride, but on one side of the field.
And here is the 10-man ride, and it is advantage Farmingdale. Look at the bench.
You got pressure, turnover, shot, save, 10-man. This is nuts.
Like I said, it is chaos at Cold Spring Harbor.
Good ride.
Ramos picks it up, and he'll get the clear. And now Farmingdale with the ball. There is Tomaso Ramos.
The good-looking athlete, football player, right?
Yeah, brother at Binghamton right now.
Brother was a defenseman.
Lorenzo.
Yep. Good player.
See there, he's got the short stick, and he's just kind of waiting. And Ramos, I think he loves this matchup, right? Because he could use his athleticism. That's really good defending, though, making it difficult. Credit there to Max Franz, the defensive midi for Cold Spring Harbor.
It's great open field defense. That's hard to do. Short stick D-middies in open space, very, very difficult. Good feet. Here he goes again.
Switching to the left. Slide comes. Good job defensively, and here's the big fella, Lennon.
Being a D-midi, Dylan, it must be the toughest job on the field. Everyone's always dodging you, right?
Listen, we had that that great Marquette-Penn State game that we were fortunate to call on the Varsity Media Sports Network, and Jeff Tambroni said that's the hardest position to go into college playing is defensive midi.
Just takes a special kind of player to play it, a mindset, you know, in general.
Good job defensively there by O'Connor. We're inside the final minute. Possession remains with the Dalers.
Good D. Sammy Bruno.
Yep.
Sophomore. Did a tournament at GLE. And he's playing an attackman there, right? Is that Jake he's playing? Yeah, that's Jake.
No free passes at the goal, that is for sure. And now, as we're under 30 seconds, the Dalers, it would appear, they're going to wait for the last. Or hold for the last. That's Cangelosi now. You want to get Ramos into space. You want to get him downhill. 11. We'll go the other way with it now. With 5. Low in the shoulder, step down shot. Doesn't make its way through. For the second straight quarter, Cold Spring Harbor has had to play defense, and they've done the job. They've not allowed a shot, but it's the Dalers who go in to the third quarter with a 9-6 lead. Thanks a lot there to Ippoliti and his job in the cage. You're watching Farmingdale and Cold Spring Harbor here under the lights on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
I'm Dr. Ajay Padaki, and I'm an orthopedic surgeon at Northwell Health Syosset Hospital. I'm a specialist in sports medicine and treat injuries of the shoulder, elbow, hip, and knee. Specifically, I see patients that have injuries to their shoulder at all levels. That means I see high school athletes that suffer from injuries such as shoulder dislocations, to older patients who have tears of the rotator cuff and have arthritis that may need shoulder replacements. I aim to restore each patient to their highest level of function. That means that we can proceed with non-operative treatments such as physical therapy and injections, all the way to doing surgeries, so that shoulders that are dislocating are now stable, and that shoulders that have arthritis or rotator cuff tears no longer have pain and are as optimized as possible. I'm happy to see any patient and allow them to tell me about what level of activity they want to get back to. I see patients at Woodbury, Belmore, and Great Neck.
We welcome you back to Cold Spring Harbor. Final 12 minutes of regulation. The Dalers looking for a curtain-raising road win. And Cold Spring Harbor trying to rally and make it 2-0 on their young season. Dylan Butler, Anthony Alexander, our entire Varsity Media crew with you here as the fourth quarter is about to begin.
Big quarter. You know, who wants to compete, right? Who wants to compete? Good face-off here. Caden O'Connor playing the ball. Oh.
10th win for Mangio. 10 for 16. It's not quite that 18 for 18 number that Nunziata had, that is for sure. Collectively, the Seahawks have done a better job battling and making it a scrappy battle at the face-off X. Skip pass, good job getting a stick in the passing lane. And then a dive at that near sideline. You love the effort by Theo Torres.
His motor is good. I mean, he's got a great motor.
Listen, Dennis Bond says he thanks his stars that he was able to transfer from Manhasset a couple years back, has been the starting LSM now going on 3 years. Here's Lennon. Step down, right into Kirshner's stick. His 5th save. Look out.
Uh-oh.
You think these Dalers don't love this aspect of the game?
There's 6 of them.
You got to get to the other side. And a timeout was called before that failure. But you were right. Listen, you called it before, Anthony. When you watch that, when you're trapping on this side, you got to get it to the other side. And they were open Seahawks. I think when they break down the film tomorrow or whenever it is, I think that's one thing Dennis Bond will say. Listen, I don't know how many more times you're going to see this kind of 10-man ride, but you got to get the ball to the other side. Let's take a look at the Seahawks' upcoming schedule after tonight. You have that road trip, that spring break trip. So you go up to Rye and Yorktown, and man, we talked before Carcaterra, the Carcaterras in general, and the Bowers, right? There's so many terrific players at a Yorktown, a traditional powerhouse, certainly. So you go back to back there, and part of that is to kind of try to emulate a little bit of what you might see later in the season if you have a successful season for Cold Spring Harbor. Then you go to Floral Park, and then the game that we have for you on the Varsity Media Sports Network as Garden City comes to town. You got to imagine, too, it's a bit of a revenge tour for any team that's played Cold Spring because, listen, we talked about our Sweet 16 poll. Cold Spring, man, they had wins at Garden City last year. They had a win at Manhasset last year as well, and obviously they went on to win the state championship, winning the Class D title. But I don't know of many teams that can put that on their resume, road wins against those two Blue Bloods of Long Island Lacrosse.
There's a lot of rivalries we're talking about here, right? So, you got the Syosset rivalry, the Garden City rivalry, the Manhasset rivalry. The list goes on and on with Cold Spring Harbor because, they've been good for so long.
Sure. And I'll tell you what, through 3/4 of this one, and this is the first matchup in a very, very long time, the first that Bond has ever played, Farmingdale, sign me up. Let's do this every year, man, because this has been fun. So turnover for the Seahawks, and it's not their 10-man, but they will look to press here. And this is where you love the poise of your goalie. What a terrific clear right over the pole.
Got lucky we didn't get called for offsides there. C.J. Riley stepped over for a second. I'm surprised that Farmingdale and Cold Spring Harbor don't play more often.
Sidearm shot. Great save by Kirshner. That's probably his best of his 6 on the game.
He's seeing the ball well right now. Seeing that, Coach Bond and Coach Hungy, Coach Hungy's, kind of Coach Bond's coaching tree, right?
Yeah, 100%. Torres hands off. Here's McGloin. And it just happened to work out this year with the scheduling that, they added the non-league game for Nassau, so you had one more game to play. And then they both said, listen, why not? Because you already have a lot of your other ones set up, right? Like it's Syosset Garden City kind of every year and, other matchups like that. But when you have another non-league game to play with now, you could have this game, and it has certainly been fun, that is for sure. C.J. Riley. He's got 2 goals on this game.
I'd like to see them do some more, pick action with C.J. C.J.'s a really, really good shot.
McGloin. That one, I'm not sure if Ippoliti got it or if it went off that post. Either way, good ground ball picked up by McGloin to keep his possession alive. Tough pass by Bauer, and Bruno pays the price. Now the Dalers come the other way.
Definitely not afraid of a little pushing and shoving.
And Kirshner.
He's seen the ball well right now, Dylan. That's what, his 3rd save in a row?
7 on the game.
He's racking them up quickly right now. These are big saves.
This is not a 10-man. Ippoliti is in his cage. So really the first time that we've seen them not utilize it.
And successful clear, right?
Yeah, right.
Interesting to note.
Roy Testa coming out of the box.
So there's 2. There's Roy and Roger, right? So Roy is the 8th grader. Correct?
Yep. And he's a guy too where he's got high expectations. As Bond says, he's going to be a special player.
He is a special player. So Roy, 2020, he's a 27, graduated 27. Brandon, their father, I've known for years.
All-American
Awesome
defender at Bethpage for Jim Amon when he was the coach. They won it in 96, went on to be a captain and All-American at Johns Hopkins as well, so great bloodline for sure.
His kids play just like he does, like just hard all the time. You can ask for more than that. Good motors, play hard all the time. Tough, too.
And as an 8th grader, you know that this isn't too big of a spotlight. Ground ball picked up by Riley. Look out. The physicality again getting ramped up. Testa, if they can get it moving, you might have good recovery defensively by the Dalers. Thought you might have had something unsettled.
Interesting Roy to Roger there. Testa to Testa.
Here's Bauer. Pumps the brakes.
One more. Ooh.
Bouncer. Another save at Belidi. Rebound, though, pops out. At Belidi aggressively off his cage. And he will pick this ball up.
That's just not going to go in against Dylan, right? You know, that 15-yard.
So the Dalers a 9-6 lead. And you got to kind of figure the way they're playing defensively and the way that Ippoliti is in his cage, if they can maybe get one more here or certainly take some time off the clock and get one more, you kind of wonder if that could be a dagger in this one.
I mean, you take the time, you think like a coach, average possessions a minute and a half. I mean, if you do the math here.
I've never been good at math.
We're getting we're getting down to it. You know, every possession is going to matter big time right now.
I'm looking forward, as many are, to the shot clock coming to New York State. Could not come sooner.
Is that happening?
I've heard some whispers that maybe in a couple years. Little birdie.
I would love that.
I mean, listen, it's in the college game, right? You want to prepare your guys to play the next level. That's the way you do it. Whatever the sport, whether it's basketball or in this case lacrosse, you've got to, if it's on the next level and the level after that, and you've got guys who can potentially do that, you know, you've got to bring that here to the high school game.
It's even more than that, though, Dylan. You want to keep a consistent set of rules. You know, for refs, it's very tough. Some of these guys do college and high school. Balancing two different rule books, you know, might as well keep it all the same. In Maryland, that's all they have is one set of rules.
Timeout for Farmingdale with 4:35 left, and we'll show you the Dalers' upcoming schedule now, and a very good Wantagh team coming up, and then it's Calhoun. You go to West Islip, and then to Southside. We just saw yesterday on the Varsity Media Sports Network that Southside with an overtime win at Port Washington. They're off to a really good start as well. So some tough non-league tests for the Dalers before they run into the gauntlet that is Nassau Conference 1.
It's not an easy schedule, actually.
No,
because you know none of these are walkovers here. This is tough.
And listen, I spoke to Mike Draper today ahead of his team's game, Massapequa, going to Chaminade tomorrow, and that's the same thought process that he had. We saw Ward Melville go out to Chaminade, and Jay Negus said the same thing. Listen, it's not about going undefeated on the season. It's about being battle-tested and getting your guys into maybe uncomfortable situations early in the season, battling adversity, and I think that's what, if you're a coach that has those aspirations to be playing into June, I think you schedule games like that in March and early April.
I mean, it's the biggest saying with coaches in my program, get your kids feeling comfortable being uncomfortable as many times as possible.
Here's Basilico, and it looks like now the Dalers going to have to keep this in.
Yeah, they're on a stall?
Yep. Shot wide.
New goalie. Dylan, right? 14. James Greco.
Yeah, and you know what? I wonder, I wasn't sure if it was Kirshner in before the timeout, but Hungerford and Bond both met at midfield. And I wonder maybe if Kirshner was feeling a little bit off because it was Hungerford's timeout then, and this might have been for a goalie change. So sportsmanship there, obviously, between the two friends.
That's respect. Definitely love. If that's the case, then
yeah, just speculating here, but I did see the two of them come together, and I could see Hungerford sort of like motion timeout to Bond, and that might have been the situation. So here is Grego, and it is a next man up situation. A football player was on the JV lacrosse team a year ago.
Good clear.
Yeah, that's
Sammy Bruno. Is it clear there? Right? 43? No. Andrew
Mazzai. Now we're seeing a lot of different personnel for Cold Spring Harbor inside the final 3 minutes. Validi, another save. 9 by our count in this game. And this is what we were saying that Cold Spring Harbor should have done before. Go sideline to sideline against that 10-man ride. And now the Dalers can kind of put this one into cruise control with 2.5 minutes left. And right away, going to the cage. There's an opportunity, and I think Grego got a piece.
Did. There's a lot of new faces on this field right now, which I think is just a testament to Coach Bond trying to develop some guys, get some guys some game minutes, and any kind of IQ they can develop here.
#49 is Brett Dracos, the junior midi. Mazzai switches hands. There's a shot, and Ippoliti, another save. An even 10 on the game. And the stall is on again as we're inside 2 minutes with the Dalers leading.
Yeah, look at them to try to keep the ball back at the X here, just so that if they lose it, obviously no transition.
Yeah, you want to lose it if you are to lose it at the spot in the field that's the least dangerous for the other team to attack, and that is pretty much right here. Want to play a little bit of a two-man game. That's what it looks like they're going to do as we approach the final minute now of this game.
I'm surprised they don't double back there. Like as soon as he crosses here, that's a free double. He got out of the way.
And also, Grego's not out of his cage either, so it's almost like Cold Spring is just sort of conceding this situation. Inside of 30 now.
Gave me keep away here.
And they're starting to hoot and holler. They did it when they got here. Coming off the bus, and they're doing it again as the Dalers now with 9 seconds, and why not? One more scrum to be played out here. 3, 2, and 1, but that'll do it. And Farmingdale, an impressive road win. Listen, they jumped out to a 3-0 lead, and you saw Cold Spring Harbor battle back. They took the lead, but then Farmingdale and their 10-man ride, and of course a terrific goalie in Ippoliti providing the difference here tonight at Cold Spring Harbor.
I mean, good face-offs, good goalie, 10-man ride. It's a lot to deal with, Coach.
It is a lot to deal with. 10 saves.
Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. 10 saves on the night for Ippoliti, and he is also the recipient of our breakout goaltending group save of the game. We go back to that second quarter, I believe. It was certainly first half, and watch it again. And I'm not sure which part of this is the better part of the save, the first or the second. Look at this. Oh, that was going in.
I mean, he tracks it very well here. And actually, because of he's falling down, creates that motion and leaves up that little bit of a rebound. But look how fast his hands are to get back to the second one.
Tremendous stuff from Ippoliti and the Dalers and the breakout goaltending group. They've got goalie training for boys and girls of all ages and abilities. It's Long Island's most comprehensive goalie training. It is year-round. They've got a Comp 60 beginners program. It's a middle school elite program, the high school elite program, and also the college committed program as well. There's a 2-to-1 ratio from player to coach. It's staffed by men and women dedicated to the development of the individual goalie, both physically and mentally. You can contact Breakout Goaltending Group for more information or to register. Summer lessons have begun. BreakoutGoaltending.com. So a great, entertaining, and physical affair here under the lights at Cold Spring Harbor, and it's the Dalers who emerge victorious. They are 1-0 on their young season, and Cold Spring Harbor falls to 1-1. That'll do it here from Cold Spring Harbor for our entire Varsity Media crew. Our executive producer, Ben Turchin. Our technical director, Chris Sweeney. For Rob Bianco and Ron Pierre, bringing you the moving images, and for my broadcast partner, Anthony Alexander of Igloo Lacrosse. I'm Dylan Butler, thanking you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time right here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.